Driving home, I'm listening to you, and it was riveting. You really went crazy talking about the NFL, its treatment of Tom Brady, its treatment of Robert Kraft, and this has been a theme of yours. You are so upset with the lack of leadership across the board, public and private sector, and yet I would say conventional wisdom or the court of public opinion that says, yeah, Brady. You may not agree with the degree of the punishment, but he was guilty, and yet you felt the entire opposite way. Why is your thinking so much different than the general public on this?
Well, I'm not sure how much divergence there is, but let's accept your premise that there may be a divergence between my view and that of the mass majority of this country, which I don't believe is the case. I have never formed an opinion based on how many people agree with me or how many people disagree with me. What I do believe in is the foundation of this country, and it is about equality. It is about the opportunity to succeed, and I think it's preposterous to listen to the NFL finance a report on Tom Brady or the Patriots to talk about the odds are that he likely knew something, but they can't describe what, and every part of that, almost every aspect of that report that they financed for $4 million was flawed, both empirically and rationally. And then to have the executive vice president of the NFL hand down a judgment based on the report financed by the NFL reporting to the commissioner and then seek an appeal of the commissioner, it is an NFL enterprise from A to Z. What idiot would think that the judge, jury, and executioner, all with the name NFL attached to it, should be arbitrating whether or not the process was fair.
But by the same token...
No, not by the same token. You tell me the flaw in that reasoning.
There's no flaw.
Inequitable.
There's no flaw in that reasoning. The only thing I would say is that this is something all the parties agreed to.
Bull.
All the parties agreed to this.
Tell me what.
When people go to work for a private business...
What in the CBA is the penalty for underinflating a football?
There are penalties for cheating.
No, I didn't ask
specific
you that.
cheating.
You're talking like
because
a lawyer.
If someone invents a new way to cheat, then they may not have known what it was going to be. I don't agree. I don't disagree that the NFL is flawed here. But what happened about the rights to businesses? That's where you used to. It felt like you used to come down on the side of businesses being able to do what businesses wanted to do without outsiders interpreting their bylaws for them.
Well, first of all,
whether they have them or not.
You're trying to say that he broke a rule that does not exist for players, okay? And you're going along with the NFL judgment that that's what occurred when, in fact, it doesn't even exist.
I'm just saying the NFL is a private business.
Let me finish, Charles.
Okay, good.
My turn. It doesn't even exist in either the CBA or any of the bylaws of the league itself. You heard a great man, Robert Kraft, who has built a great fortune, who helped build this fabulous, wealthy league. And the fact is, I'm pro-business to the hilt, but I'm not pro-stupid, and I'm not pro-unfair. And this is utterly idiotic. And by the way, we're sitting here talking about a couple of millionaires, or multimillionaires, or billionaires in the case of Kraft, but the fact is, there is such a thing as pure common sense, judgment, and fairness.
I guess the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I see it as a proxy for the entire country. I see it as a proxy for the idea.
That's what I said on my broadcast last night. I said to you, what business, $10 billion business, has a CEO who doesn't have the sense to head off a problem before it can hit the front pages? Instead, in my opinion, Goodell moronically and irresponsibly and recklessly is risking the entire $10 billion a year.
Although there are owners who agree with him.
Let me finish my sentence, Charles, if I may. Risking the entire business. No other CEO would be permitted to do such a stupid thing. All he had to do was to say to the Colts and to the Patriots in January, this is bull. If it's happening, it's going to stop here, and we're going to have officials make certain of it. That didn't happen.
That did not happen. I will say, though, it is a business based largely on the popularity and its image within the public. He had made a lot of mistakes prior to that.
Goodell?
Sure.
It's a disaster. Do you know what's ridiculous? Is they talk about the Patriots having a pattern of cheating. The only other time they cheated, to my knowledge, was in Spygate or whatever it was. Right. Excuse me, what is that, 10 years ago?
Yeah, the Jets. Right.
That's 2 incidents. That's not a pattern. Goodell's got a pattern. You can talk about Greg Hardy. You can talk about Ray Rice. You can talk about Adrian Peterson. He screwed up every one of those. He screwed this up, and it's about time the owners take note that they have got a man working against their interests right now.
Before we go then, Lou, let's broaden this out. Leadership in corporate America, leadership on a public-private side, from government entities to these large corporations that seem to be making a lot of mistakes. What can turn it around, or do you have any confidence that will turn around?
Who's making the mistakes?
Leadership. I mean, this is one of the things, not just NFL, but I've heard you talk about leadership within corporate America, or lack thereof.
Well, the problem for leaders right now in corporate America, and I'm talking now about the S&P 500, for example, the fact is they are driving on quarterly basis the goals of their
They're giving me the rap signal like crazy.
Well,
I want to continue this.
Tune in next at 7 o'clock, and we'll have the answer to Charles' question.
You know what? If you have room for me, I'll come on and talk to you about it. If you can squeeze me in.
You're a big fella, but we'll squeeze you in.
All right, thanks.